Hello, everyone. I'm Michael Moore, and I'm honored tonight to be able to have this conversation with the uh, producer, curator, mentor, and one of our great Palestinian directors who put this project together from ground zero. Please welcome Rashid Masarari. How'd I do?
That's good.
Okay. There's so many questions I have of you. And in full disclosure, I should also mention that I'm also an executive producer of this film. I so believed in this project. When I first saw it, I was so moved, and I believe in the power of cinema. And this has a power way beyond just the wonderful 22 short stories that were filmed here. But and it can be a force for good. And Rashid, you are a force for good, and I'm so grateful that you are part of this, and so happy that so many of my fellow filmmakers tonight are able to hear from you in terms of how this film even got made, and what you hope for it to do. And so why don't we just start there? And I'll turn the microphone over to you.
Yeah, I was saying just before this war and before the all this initiative from ground zero, I was making my own films, my feature films, documentaries, shorts, longs, and I was co-producing with Arabic world, with Europe a lot. And as I had films in Cannes, in Berlin, in Venice, in Toronto, and in Arte. With Arte, I made many projects. It means, and always I was the Palestinian who make the Palestinian films dealing with Palestine, and always I was the one who try to have this challenge to make my films more artistically, more poetry, more richly, technically, and experimental films. Now, when all this war starts 7 October, for me it was very natural as someone who born in Gaza, all my family now in Gaza. I'm a filmmaker who make many films in Gaza and about Gaza. So it was like an instinct to say, okay, this time I am not going to make my next film as a director. This time I am going to my film will be signed by 22 filmmakers from Gaza. I want to use the idea of people who is on the ground there, living the life under the rocket, like the other people trying to save their own life, searching for food, for tents, for safe places, searching for water, electricity, losing houses, losing people. I want them to write the stories. I want them to bring the idea. I want to help them to express their own feelings, emotions, and also cinema. Because in From Ground Zero, you can find films, fiction, documentaries, stop motion, experimental, video art, even marionette, you have films there, but all with the limited possibilities because no equipments, for sure, no big budget to deliver there. Uh, and most of the time, no electricity to charge mobiles or cameras, no internet to upload materials. So it was amazing production to go on and to try to manage my dream to come with this collection to be my next project signed by 22 filmmakers and also their own dream because in Gaza the most element was the people feel like they left alone. They feel alone. This is why it was very important for them to tell the stories, to bring material out, to use somebody like me to represent them in the world and to say, this is us. Because beside me being a filmmaker and a Gazayan and Palestinian, and I have all my problem with cinema to try to come with something, create something, add something to cinema. I am a Palestinian citizen from Gaza. My family is there. We lost all our houses. I lost until now 26 people from my family. I was watching all my
I mean,
memory
you're saying they were killed in the last year
in this war,
in this war.
only since 7 October. So,
26
when,
people you're related to.
yes, yes, from my family, some of them are very close. When I say very close, this means the son of my sister and his wife and his kids. My only uncle. I have only one uncle. I lost him this war. Yeah. My brothers are in tents moving sometimes several times a day, not moving to Rafah, to Khan Yunis, to Gaza. But you reach a
Can I
point.
just stop you there right there, Rashid? Um, if I had 26 family members, relatives who were killed in the last year, I don't think I've ever had any relative killed. But 26 killed. I mean, this is just a human question I'm asking you here. How are you even able to do this interview with me? Because the loss, that human loss for you personally, and the grief that you have been carrying for these number of months.
Yes.
Um, I'm sitting here listening to this and I'm just thinking, how are you?
Yeah. From ground zero helped me a lot. It helps me a lot in a personal level. It's like treatment. I was not the one who is sitting crying in front of the news and just getting all the time these bad news and dealing with that. For people who know all my history, they know that I am somebody who try all the time to add hope, to add life. I am someone who encourage all the people around to say we still have tomorrow. And in certain point, you lose the line between if it's your cousin or your neighbor or someone was with you in the school or someone was working with you, it become a big family. I mean, in the end, I am someone who lost 50,000 people in this war, Palestinians, because I love Gaza. I am belong to this city, and it's a small city. We know each other. We saw a kid in the street. We know from his face, we know his family name. This is Gaza. So when during this filmmaking of From Ground Zero, sometimes we lost contact with everybody for 3, 4 days for simple reason. No electricity, no internet, no mobile phones. So after this, when we get back to contact, we did not continue our work to say what we are going to shoot today, which film, what's the next shot, do it like this, do it like that, start like this. No, 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 no. First thing we saw, who is where? Is we miss anybody? Is all the people alive?
Hmm.
It means search for Muhammad or Ahmed or Yusuf. And they say he is in Deir al-Balah. He moved with his family, moved to Khan Yunis. He lost only his house. He lost his uncle. He this, he that. So many times we need to bring back the mood of the people to start again the production because Michael, most of this shooting was made February, March, April. You remember these months is what was in Gaza for
Right.
sure. Yeah, today is more difficult because then still some medicines, still some food, you know. Now still people move only once or twice. Some people still have the houses. Today it's much, much worthier. But if you talk about my personal feeling now when I am talking with you, yes, I still believe that the good days are coming.
so here's my question. We were gonna do this possibly in person in New York. We were gonna if not, we do it if you were out in LA, we do it Zoom from there. Uh, but I'm talking to you in France. Uh, and we're already in 2025, and the voting I think starts for the Academy sometime next week. Um, why am I talking to you in France? Why are you not here in the US? I talked to you maybe a week ago, and you had to get a visa and you had a plane ticket, and nobody's told me, so I don't know the answer to this question
Yeah.
as to why are you sitting in no offense to the French, but the
Yeah, yeah,
wrong,
yeah. No,
wrong
I apply for a visa to the US in France because I have French residency. I don't have French passport. I have only Palestinian passport with French residency. That's it. So I apply in France. The last 5 days, they are telling us, we got your application. We will study it. Wait.
Who's the
That's it.
they? Who's the they telling you this?
The American embassy in Paris, they tell us, we got your application. We are studying this. Wait. I did not pass even the first step. First step, it's to set up an interview with me before they issue a visa for me. I did not reach this point yet. So the only thing I can do now, I am waiting because we ask for urgent visa. We need also to describe or to explain why. I have many invitations from different cultural societies for my trip to America. And for sure, our film, it's shortlisted, and I have so many screenings, and I have distribution company working with me there, and I have many supporters who believe in our project, like you, like yourself. You did not give me just the chance to say that really, really I really like it and appreciate it, and it add a lot to have you in our project as a human, as an artist, as an American citizen who believe in justice. It's very important for me. Also, the American citizen who believe in justice and who believe that we need to use cinema for justice, cinema for humanity, cinema to try to change something in the world, because this is what I was trying to do the last 40 years. I am more than 60 years today. I start filmmaking when I was 20 years old. At 25, I had a filming competition in Berlin. I am today more than 60. I am doing only one thing in my life, films.
You are you
Only.
are a beloved filmmaker. Um, uh, yes, your films have been in Berlin, Venice, Cannes, and but I will tell you just that story you just said about trying to get a visa from the American embassy there in Paris. And this is a State Department that, as we speak, Trump is not president yet. So this is a State Department that's still under the tutelage of the Democrats and
Yes.
President Biden. But so I'm really sorry to hear this, but I have to tell you, I started my own film festival in Michigan 20 years ago, and I've brought many Palestinian films, and it is the hardest thing to get a Palestinian director out of Palestine and into this country. And I have never succeeded with somebody from Gaza, a couple of times from the West Bank, but it's like pulling teeth. And and I'm very sorry for that. And thank you for your kind words.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
I'm not the only American that feels this way, and nobody is enjoying the brutality and the cruelty of all of this. And as Americans, as I've said publicly many times, that I cannot square it the fact that I'm paying for this. I'm
yeah,
paying
yeah,
for this war. It's bombs and bullets and planes and everything that I and my fellow Americans have funded. And so that we are now the contributors, we're the bank essentially for this war, has broken my heart
yeah, yeah,
on a number of levels. I I grew up in Flint, Michigan. There, it's a longer story I won't tell today, but the union that started in Flint, it was founded the UAW, big strike against General Motors in the 1930s. And that strike, we were helped by essentially Jewish organizers from Brooklyn that came
yeah,
and
yeah,
got
yeah,
jobs in the factories in Flint and Detroit in the 30s to help organize, try to form this union to fight for the workers, and they won. We won, and then all of these Jewish workers who helped us stayed in Flint and raised families, and we had four synagogues, temples, shuls of for all the various parts of the
yeah,
Jewish
yeah, yeah.
religion. And one of the rabbis literally looked like Santa Claus, and he was our Santa at our Catholic school. Every year he'd come and play Santa. He already had the beard, and um, and so all of this, I think I speak probably
Yeah.
for a lot of people. I'm born what 8 years and 11 months after the final concentration camp was liberated.
Yeah, yeah,
That's how close it is, and
yeah,
how
yeah,
I grew up with this. As most Americans have, and why most Americans have been felt awful after the war. What can we do? How can we help? Nobody really knew anything. It just sounded like we were all doing something good for people that had suffered so much. And and so for this to happen, and I'll tell you the honest truth too. The morning of October 7th, I woke up, I got the radio alarm clock thing, and the news came on, and it said that there were 1,200 dead people in Israel, in southern Israel. And I couldn't understand it.
yeah,
Nobody wants to wake up ever to hear that there are 1,200 dead Jewish human beings in the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
in their
It
home.
means I
I
also,
started to cry. I was really unbelievable. I couldn't believe it.
yeah, I have also something to say about that because once everybody saw that. I also wake up at the same day, and I saw not only the news, I saw also the images when Hamas broke out the wall and they get into and they hostage people and they kill people. I was also witness to this day.
Yeah,
For me, the problem was if the war between Israel and Hamas and they fight and they have all this big war, okay. Gaza, it's 2,300,000 people. Yeah. More than 2,100,000. They are paying their life now. They had nothing to do with that. We are discussing the innocent people. And if I want to say that Hamas make a massacre in this day, yes, you don't know how many massacres I was witness from Israel even before Hamas exists.
sure.
Oh, yeah. Not only inside Palestine or in Sabra Shatila, in Deir Yassin, in
Yes,
Kana. Me, myself, never have any problems with Jewish. Never. And I will never have. For me, Jewish, Muslim, Christian, they all religious. I have many Jewish friends. Even I have some Israeli friends, filmmakers that I know personally. We have nothing to do with that. There is the Israeli army, the Israeli government. There is this Sharon mentality, Netanyahu mentality, army military mentality. As I say before, I born in 62. 67, I was 5 years old. I opened my eyes only army and killing and Israelis beating the fathers, getting into houses,
Sure.
bombing houses. It was a war in my Shati refugee camp in Gaza. It was in all Gaza. But as a kid, I mean, they were in my house.
Right.
I wake up for a lamp from the Israeli army in my eyes, wake me up asking my mother, who is this? And she said, this is my son Rashid. I was 5 years old. Yeah, this is how I start my
Yeah.
memory.
No, I know.
I
Listen, the first time I went to Gaza back in the mid 80s, I couldn't believe what I saw. It was so difficult to see human beings being forced to live this way. Um, it's been referred to as an open air prison, which is accurate, but it looks like a prison that I don't I can't the words are hard, but the images once I saw them, they've never left my head.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I've gone back and I've seen the tragedy of this, and I've seen the apartheid. I've seen I know these are words people don't like to use, but I don't care.
yeah, yeah.
We are here to tell the truth. And so and now I'm a part of it because I'm paying for it with my tax dollars.
Mm.
And and so and I offered, to uh, come on board as an executive producer of this to help you and to help get the word out, to help people see this film because it's so powerful in the sense of um, you have 22 short stories. I mean, most people, I think, even if you don't like to read long novels, everybody likes a good short story. And there are
Yeah.
22 short stories here. And as you said, some are fictional, some are nonfiction. There's animation, there's music, there's all forms of cinema within these 22 stories. It's so fascinating and amazing, and that they're all told by people who some of them were filmmakers, some of them have worked on crews. I think a number of your directors, these are first-time directors.
Most of them first time
Most
director
of them
for
are
films.
first-time directors.
They
This is
were,
amazing.
yeah,
And
most of
and
them.
and and so to tell these stories and to and production, I don't know what the call sheet looks like, but you're in the middle of a war. There are soldiers trying to kill you. There are snipers trying to kill you. So many innocent people slaughtered. And you're going to go out now with a few cameras today and and make a film. Uh, I don't just, I mean,
Yeah,
you have
yeah,
to
yeah,
explain this to somebody who I try to be. I mean, there are people always chasing me, but they're just chasing me because they don't want me to
yeah,
film
yeah,
what I'm filming. But
yeah.
generally, they don't try to kill me. Uh,
Yeah.
so I just tell us what is that? What is that like? I guess to make and these are not documentaries. There's some
Yes,
documentaries.
yes, yes. One of the filmmaker for one film called No Signal, the filmmaker, he is a filmmaker, beginners, not professional, beginner. But he play with video and editing before. He decided he want to make his film 4 minutes, one shot about story that he know it happened few days ago in Gaza. He want to repeat it as a fiction, what I consider documentary. So he make a film called No Signal about the daughter that she go there, that her father underground, she believe he's still alive and she want to believe he's still alive. So he make this film 4 minutes. He made many rehearsals with the camera just to walk into that broken building to make one shot for 4 minutes. He make many rehearsals before with the actors to make it one shot 4 minutes, and they shot it 14 times to have this shot. And during this 14 times, it was dangerous. They should leave and come back because
Right.
they were bombed. And it was for his idea because artistically he want to have it one shot. And they could die all of them because he want to have it one shot.
Yeah.
It was
Wow.
like that.
Yeah. So obviously there's Israeli soldiers nearby while he's filming. Uh, uh, Anything could happen at any moment. And while you're watching this, it's hard to get that out of your head that the risk that they are taking for cinema, for life, for I mean, over and over, I've had to listen to pundits on American news networks tell me that there really is no Palestine. There are no Palestinians. It's a made up confection. Over and over, we hear this. Every time I hear it, I just go, wow, this is like, I mean, take out the word Palestinian and put in, just imagine people trying to tell you that there are no African Americans, there are no
Yeah,
Irish, there are no Jews.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
It's a made up religion. I mean, I've listened to this
yeah,
and it's just harrowing and I'm just really a viewer at this point here, thousands of miles away. But how close did any of the crews of these 22 films, how close did any of the crew members come to being hurt, killed, taken away? Was anybody arrested during any of this? I'm just curious.
yeah,
The
yeah, 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 yeah. It means
Oh
it
yeah, yeah,
it
yeah.
happened.
Oh
It
yeah. Why are you even
Yeah.
asking that
No,
question?
no, no. I mean, because beside making films with these guys and also this women, I was sharing their own daily life every day,
Yeah.
every day. One of the filmmakers, he lost in one day seven of his family in Jabalia. One filmmaker, she couldn't make the film because her brother and her kids, the film called Taxi Wanisa, her name
Right.
Atimado Shah. Yeah, her brother and her kids, they bombed and they were under the building. At the same day, she contact us and she say, I stop everything. I cannot do anything. I lost my brother, my this. So first we pay the solidarity. First we try to support and to help and to see what we can do. Forget the film, forget cinema, forget everything. What we can do. Yeah. It means uh, one of the filmmakers, he didn't. We have two films we did not finish and we could not finish because the filmmakers lose. One of the filmmaker lose two girls of her sister and his sister. He lost them. So we stopped the film. And this was one of the beautiful stories that I want to do because it was, well, let me tell you, because we are talking about films that we made. I want to tell you the idea of film we did not make. It's a
Well,
man,
so that film, that particular one is not in the
it's
22
not in the 22, and I like to tell you, and
because
I like to tell you the idea. It's a man who stay with his cat 36 days without electricity, without internet, a man and a cat, because all the family were refugees somewhere else. And one day they bombed the mosque next to him, and the tower of the mosque come to the building. Nothing happened to him. He ran away of the building. He did not find the cat that he was sharing 36 years in a building, and they bombed, and he went away, and the cat went another way. That's it. We couldn't make because before he start shooting, they kill his sister and her daughters. So he cannot go and look for the cat now.
it's a rare Q&A with the director producer of a film that we end up talking about not just what we just saw, but what we didn't see because of the death and destruction. We weren't allowed to see this beautiful story about this man and his cat. And yes, of course, the loss of their lives is far outweighs
Yeah,
a short film. And yet, and yet, I think this is from what you've told me, this is why you decided to make this from ground zero, to give cameras to 22 Gazans who would make their stories. Their voices would be
yeah,
heard.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And in doing this, Rashid, if you haven't already figured this out, the more people that will see this film, the more their hearts will open, and the more I think they will realize that the injustice and the death and the destruction must come to an end now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
so, and so lives, yes, lives of these filmmakers were lost, relatives of theirs were lost. But perhaps with what they did and what you have done here, maybe we will save some lives. Maybe just enough people, especially Americans, will say, no more money, no more of this. This has to end. There was a horrific slaughter on October 7th, and now that was essentially a day.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Um, and now we've had, I can't, what would the number be? For over 400 days of
Yeah,
slaughter
yeah. It's
of
440, by the way.
how many is it now today?
440 days. Yeah. But
440 days of this.
yeah,
And
yeah, yeah. We are almost 15 months. Uh, Let me tell you something.
yeah,
If my aim was to share these stories with the world and to come to maximum audience to watch these films, really, far from any Oscar results, far from that. Just to share these stories with the world. It's not only me. Many people who think and feel and believe they join, like you. You add a lot. Once you add in the promotion, you add people to come to see. So you add many people. This is my Oscar. Really, this is my Oscar. When I hear from Watermelon that From Ground Zero will be shown more than 150 cinemas in America, I am a winner. I got already my Oscar. Thanks to Watermelon. And thanks to people like you who really put light on these things to add more people to watch first. If we go more, I will be very happy for the same reason to keep telling the story, to tell the story bigger, to give more attention to what's going on in Gaza now. I mean, this is my Oscar, and my Oscar is already happening. I am a winner, man. Thank you. Really, thank you. I'm a winner.
it's very powerful to hear you put it that way. And I know the truth of it too, because um it's rare that nominees have any kind of a story like this to tell, and to just to be able to make our films. We think just getting a film made is hard enough, but these making these 22 films under this duress, and learning how to make a movie, because so many of them are first time directors, is it's just kind of mind blowing, and gives me hope
Yeah,
of this long held belief I've had that cinema can change
yeah,
the world, that art can have a profound impact on people's lives,
yes,
and that in the case of these Gazan filmmakers, that they haven't given up, that they are able to produce this art
yeah,
to tell these stories. And let me tell you, we don't hear these stories. Anybody who's, if whether you're watching this before or after seeing From Ground Zero, uh, the stories we just watched, the people just watched, if they were watching in the theater right now, you haven't seen that. You haven't seen
no,
those stories.
yeah,
And like I said at the beginning, it's a real honor to be able to spend this
thank
time with,
you.
to now be a participant in the film as a producer, and I'll do my best to try and get as many people as possible to see it. And I please offer my extreme gratitude to the 22 filmmakers and the 22 crews
Sure,
of these
sure, sure,
filmmakers that
sure.
have done one of the most amazing things I've seen in recent years with this art form that we all love so much. I'm inspired by this conversation, by what you've done. I want to thank everybody who's tuned in, who've attended the film, who are going to watch it at home tonight. Um, Thank you for that.
No,
Thank
thank you. Thank you. I will tell you in Arabic, Michael, شكرا. شكرا حبيبي Michael. Really, شكرا. كتير.
Yes.
Yeah.
No. Well, thank you. thank you for that. And I hope to come back there sometime
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and speak and maybe show one of my movies at the Film Institute of Gaza of Palestine. So
Yes.